have to have someone to take minutes in Amelia's
Yeah.
absence?
Yeah, I think Jan would do well.
Jan, would you mind?
Still under my temporary. I have-
Your temporary.
Motion to,
Do we need a motion on that?
I think we did last time, so
We did the last time,
We did,
so.
okay, well,
I move Jan as temporary clerk.
I'll second that.
okay. All in favour? Yes?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't hear a no down there, so.
Just get a pen out.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully it's very, very temporary. Okay, questions on any or?
Let's see, wanna do them in order?
Yes.
Okay, October 8th. The second thing here is minutes were reviewed by F. Thorough and asked that the opening time be added to all minutes. We don't need to have that in there, because the next thing, the motion includes that, so just strike that sentence, or two sentences.
Because it's already in.
Yeah, it's in the
yes.
motion, yeah. You don't need that. That's number one. I don't have any comments on, well, anybody else got any comments on the 8th?
No.
And I have no comments on the 15th. Anybody have comments on the 15th?
No?
Okay. On the 26th,
Yes.
she calls them guests.
Yes.
They're not guests. I would say comment one. I mean, I love the way she laid it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really,
the
great.
attendees.
But they aren't guests.
Can I?
Just comment, because some of these will repeat from the same person.
Right. Can I just say, was it, should we have asked them to announce their name at that?
It wasn't a public hearing.
Yeah. I
Okay,
don't
so
think
we
it was
weren't
necessary.
doing anything wrong, but I think for the next
My
one.
wife said the same thing, and I said, it wasn't a public hearing.
No,
Some people did state their names.
they did,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But I was thinking the same thing over the
Right.
weekend, that it might not be a bad idea just to have a voluntary sign-in sheet, so
That's,
in case someone says
if you want to
who
get back
was
to.
there,
Yeah,
you know, it's not like we're asking people to step up to the mic and give their name and address like they would at
Right.
some of the
So,
other public
right.
For the
meetings.
next forum,
I-
we should
I
have
would,
a sign it.
yeah, I think for the next
Good
forum.
idea.
And I think it'd be sort of quite good practice if you just ask them, would you mind stating your name? You don't need to state an address.
Name and address, because you don't know how many of those people were from Newburyport. I don't believe any of them were, but could have been.
No,
Well,
but
there's
I
an
think
open
it's an
public
open
forum. I don't think
forum.
it matters if you live.
Well, it matters a lot when the comments from an outsider or not.
That's, I thought that as well.
Whenever I've been to a Newburyport public hearing, I always let them know that I'm an interloper. Well, I do. I try to keep my nose out of Newburyport business, and we all should, but once in a while, things really,
Right.
really stick in your craw.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. No, it's-
Okay, so for the next meeting, we have a sign in, or we have some way of identifying.
But can we change guest to comment, or
Or-
unless somebody's got a better
Or
term?
attendee, or,
Well, because I'm telling you, some of these comments, several people
Had the
spoke
same.
several times.
yes, it makes it look as though there were 14 individual.
Right, and I think Lon spoke at least twice, Pam Wool spoke at least 3 times. So I think it's comment number 1, unless you have something better.
No,
Right, unless, like Matt, so you know who it was, and he, that's correct, put that in.
Well, we know who the person, I know who the person was that spoke on her father's with the trees.
Yes,
Mm.
I
That was
was,
Wilma Buckley.
I think because that is was a pertinent comment, because we did ask, it may be a follow-up on that one, because we may want to know what trees were, whether there were any designated in, so that we can respect any legacy that.
Well, the problem is that if the tree's dead or dying, you still gotta take it down.
Absolutely. but
And
anyway,
I think she understood, she seemed to
She
understand
understood.
that. I think her base question in the end was, Greenie, ours proposal was to remove every tree on the
Right.
green and replace them with all one other kind of tree,
Yeah, right.
which I think we firmly said that we're not
Want to do.
doing that unless Tim finds something wrong with every single
Right,
one of them,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is, what are the odds of that, so.
Always wanted it.
I think she seemed much more, okay,
Right.
that's fine. She
But-
just thought there was gonna be indiscriminate, everything come
Everything else,
down,
yeah.
so.
I thought a solution to that in a slightly different way, because if we don't know what the trees were, she doesn't know, probably there's no record, we actually, in the event of a tree planting, we invite her to bless the planting, or plant the tree itself, and say, look, this is now in your memory, or your family's memory, now it's your tree, you know which one it is, away you go. And that sort of respects and solves any problem in the event there's any further discussion on that issue. Yeah, it's a good, so she's got a huge buy-in to see the green have a nice, respectful
Probably at the,
thing. You know, you
like-
say, right, this tree we've designated as your family memorial because we don't know where they are, and you start again. Will sound like a reasonable.
I assume that they're gonna have some, like a rededication ceremony or something once all this work gets done, whenever,
Could you?
something like
I
that.
would hope so.
Yeah.
I would think so.
And make
Good
her,
idea.
and make her part of the
Yeah,
process.
yeah, just make
So-
Well, that could be a recommendation that we would make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, and it's
Because I agree, it's like, here we did all this hard work with everybody's help and input and tried to do our very best to bring the green back to its former glory.
right,
Let's say to everybody, look,
yeah,
we actually got it done. I
Yeah.
think
yeah,
good news is not a bad thing to have in the town,
absolutely,
so,
and,
and it's a community thing.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not one area or one group of people or one other
Right.
person or anything. It's, anybody is free and more than invited to use the green, so I think that would be a great thing to do,
right, and it makes it very personal as well, the
Yeah.
whole, exactly as you said,
yeah.
to,
But in the
Okay.
meantime, we're about these minutes.
oh, sorry, yes, yeah. But can we put the names on the ones we know, and the ones we don't know, we put comment so and so?
And what, then reprint this with the names on it?
Yeah, it would have to be revised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right, isn't it? It's not a, I mean, the text is good,
But yeah, the setup, you're right, the setup was,
The setup's
she
good.
did an awesome job.
very good, yeah,
Yeah.
it's brief and it's just like bullet points, it's fine,
Yep.
yeah, I like that. Yes, there was, like, did you know the lady discussing the fire pit and the skating was, she seemed to know the,
Oh, was that Karen Wakefield that sent us a note?
I don't remember
who
She-
sent the note?
who said what other, I remember Lon had the thing about the lower green being included.
Lon was,
But,
yeah.
and there was some other thing, but other than that, I don't remember who said what, so.
Yeah, this was the lady, that was talking about ice skating and having fires on the pond and things to that effect. She spoke several times, I believe, and I think she sent us a note,
Just the one you passed around?
I did
Yeah,
pass it
yeah.
over, that said thank you for holding the meeting, and, I think that was her, Karen Wakefield, but I can't be positive, but,
Okay, where we know the name, so it was another lady mentioned about the concern was if we get some sort of invasive thing for the geese, it scares away everything else.
Yeah,
And, which is a good point, but we'll just make sure.
yeah, we all thought of that, we all wondered about that,
Yeah, we just do our research to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, and
Number-
don't
And I can't
forget,
remember, she was on the side.
number 14 was Jim Moran.
and don't forget, we want to be able, we wanna repellent type thing that can be turned on and off manually, because once you drive them out, you don't need to have that thing running
No.
24/7 for months and months and months. But if they come back, then you reactivate.
Right, absolutely, yeah, I totally agree, and, you know, they learn as well.
That's right, they do.
So,
And you get them out of there in the spring and they will not come back until maybe fall, maybe not till the following year.
okay, we'll put that into our review
Pretty sharp.
thing, but in terms of the minutes, itself, can we adjust just to where we know the name, put the name in, otherwise we put it as a comment?
Okay, I'll make that motion. You can't make a motion, so,
Can I second it?
yeah, oh yeah, no, he can't make a motion.
Oh,
He's
I'll-
chairman.
I'll second the motion then to change
Okay,
the names.
everyone okay with that?
Okay, so the people we don't know, we're replacing the word guest with comment?
Yeah.
Yes. Because, it's more than one. If we just tell them Elan to.
One other thing, maybe should be in there. At the bottom, we had 18 people
Good
show
point,
up.
Yeah,
Is that all? It seemed more.
I counted 18.
yes, I think,
Yeah.
good point.
Which is, to me, pretty impressive.
Bearing in mind what was going on
No.
that day,
It
yes,
was,
I
it
agree.
was.
When you figure
Pleasing.
there were a few hundred at the auction, and a lot of them were there early. We did pretty well. So,
Okay, add that in.
I move, we accept the October, let's go to, October 8th minutes with the one change I mentioned about deleting that second paragraph.
Oh, God.
Did you get what that was? The second paragraph was, minutes from the September 10th. It's just duplication.
Right, so it's just the,
It wasn't a motion, but the next paragraph is a motion, that's what you wanna have.
okay,
Well, we got a second for that at all?
I'll second it.
all in favour?
Aye.
Okay,
And then on the 15th, I had no comments, and nobody else had any comments. I make a motion, we accept them as is.
Seconded.
continued, all in favour?
Alright,
Aye.
and then
Okay.
on the third one, we're going to, I would recommend that we change under the attendee comments as follows. We're gonna identify where we can, what person spoke, and where we can't identify, we'll call it comment. I guess you don't have to have the numbers, you can just have comment.
Yes,
So that's a motion. Oh, and otherwise approve it
I'll second all
as
that.
amended. Okay.
okay, all in favour of that?
Aye.
So we're removing the numbers?
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
really need the numbers, because now it doesn't make sense, because you got so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so, and then
Right.
comment.
Yeah.
Unidentified commentator, you could do that too, but,
I don't know, I like the numbers myself, but.
well, I know, me too, but now you
It
got,
could say, for instance, number 3 is, I know Wilma Buckley.
Okay,
So we
good.
could just say, we could leave all the numbers down the edge and then say, Wilma Buckley noted her father planted, just throw her name in.
Yeah,
That way we know we had 14 talking points primarily.
okay. Okay,
Does
I'll
that work?
amend my amendment.
yeah, but you see,
Or you can amend my amendment.
Matt McManus doesn't have a number. If you see what I mean.
Oh, yeah, so this was actually 15
There was
comments.
actually 15 comments,
Okay, so we'll just do,
so,
Something, oh, I see.
you
You're
see what I
right.
mean? So it's
How did that happen?
confusing, well,
Because she had a name.
She had a name, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you didn't need a number, so we just,
You're making the motion now, kid.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we remove the word guest, leave the number for each comment, and add in the name next to it for all people that we can identify.
Second.
right. All in favour?
Aye.
Right, okay. Can you do that? And I think,
That proves the minutes.
there we go.
Yeah, I could.
I don't know if she did, she put, I thought
She
she,
said that she's got the
she'll
rest.
see you guys tomorrow, or,
She got a new job, you know.
I know, and I don't know how she's doing all the stuff she's doing.
I don't either, I tell them.
No, no.
Okay,
She
so
did-
minutes
Give
are,
her credit.
She only said the thing saying because she's got the draft letter to the selectmen. I know this, we haven't come on to that yet.
oh, yeah.
So, okay,
She didn't, give us anything in writing that we were,
No, and I'm very surprised she's not here, so, unless she had a last
I
minute.
just be excused to see what.
Excuse me.
Okay, we'll just.
I wanted to make sure it was Ellen and not leaving and not somebody trying to get in.
She's stuck in a fire drill at work at the moment. If she's coming along, but will be a little bit late,
when did
Sorry.
she send that?
This was at 6:28.
Oh, wow.
So depending on how long it takes to get back.
Right.
She's in Boston, you know.
No, she now works
Oh.
in Kids of W. That's all right.
Wakefield?
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Wakefield, Woburn,
Right
one or
next
the
to
other,
where I used to
probably.
So she'll be shooting up.
So she
95?
knows and she's making an effort. So we'll.
Well, why don't we skip the letter?
Yes.
Well,
And then we come to what, adjourn?
I'm just going
Because we've
to.
already discussed the public forum.
Well, no, it seems like we still have other things we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's.
We have aftermath of the public forum.
Yes, we have to have results of the public forum, view, suggestion, and comments, which I've got. So I'm just going to acknowledge that, if you just excuse me, so that she knows she's got the message through.
Well, don't send her a text, because now you're sending a text to somebody driving.
Good point.
She might have Bluetooth, so you might be able to call her. That's what my daughter tells me all the time. Don't try to text me, just call me. I have, what is it called, free, handless, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Hands-free.
hands-free.
Hands-free, that's it. Fire drill. She does well, I'll tell you.
She really does, she did it, she's doing a great job at these minutes, I think.
Yeah, good.
She's way ahead of my girl.
The heck is that noise? I guess it's laughter, I hope it's laughter.
But we're not the only ones that are ever in this building, so
I don't know.
could be anybody.
Could be another tenant, you know. I mean, too much fun. right. Updates on prior meeting to-do items.
I wrote some of the notes on the other sheet, but I was looking for names. I'm like, didn't I just?
There were something, wasn't there, from the to-do. Someone was going to check on the ownership of the trees, weren't they, on one
Oh,
side?
yeah, I mentioned that at the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can show you right here, because I overlaid, where is it? Google Earth
Oh,
on top of their, on top of Greener's plan. And I got it the same scale, and it proves pretty much that all those trees are on town property.
oh.
Scale these off, and they had the right-of-way of the road laid out here. And this is the right-of-way of the road laid out. And this is the right-of-way of the road laid out. The pavement on Green Street, for instance, is here. The pavement on High Road is here. And the trees are set way back here, and they are, I measured them from the pavement. And they're definitely in, on the town property.
Okay.
And I showed it to him. And
He's agreed.
Yeah.
He's confirmed it, I should say. Right?
Yep.
So, all the little dotted lines.
Oh, all these
for-
little
for-
dotted lines
for where-
probably actually belong out here, because I think that their surveyor measured them from pavement and not from the right of way. So I think these all go out this much. So actually only a small amount of this gravel area, or whatever you wanna call it, is actually on the park. Same thing over here. Pavement's here,
Oh, yeah.
and then it's gravel from there out,
Yeah.
and I believe that most of this gravelly area here is actually with, well, in this case, about half of it. But in this case, most of it,
Yeah.
and most of it there, and most of it here.
Yeah, see that.
So, but the trees are definitely,
So-
Definitely.
So the line that's on the back side of that, which goes all the way a solid line around here, that's the actual,
this is the pavement line.
that one is?
Yep. This is the right-of-way line. So this is the public way, what's laid out as a public way.
Okay.
This much of it is paved.
Oh, right, okay.
So there's a
you
sidewalk
said
on this
this
side.
line
Yeah.
here.
There's no sidewalk on that side.
Okay.
And the paved bit is the responsibility of the state.
The whole right-of-way is the responsibility
The
of
whole
the
right
state.
of way is the responsibility. Right,
Absolutely,
okay,
ownership,
got you.
ownership's owned by the state of Massachusetts.
Right, and then the rest.
This is owned by the
is-
town, but it's separate from Parkland, which is over here.
Right.
Okay, so like, where's the?
All the park.
So this whole part along this solid line here,
Yeah,
that's the edge?
that's the edge of the street line, the layout of the street. I don't know how to describe
Well,
it.
that's fine.
How do you describe it? The pavement is like in this area.
Okay, so you're talking about, the hot tub,
That's
to
pavement.
go back to old terms. So all of this is like hot top, so this line is the edge of the pavement itself.
Yeah, I only carried it that far, but yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I'm in the right same
Yeah.
spots, okay,
So the bottom line is the town has the responsibility for all the trees.
Along Highway.
But all of them, period, yeah.
Period.
And
Well, that's simple, and that's
responsibility is
been,
the right word. We have the right to do them as we
Right,
want.
and that's
But
been-
they have to have, as Tim said, you have to hold a public hearing.
so we have to have it.
This is Massachusetts, and my wife had a fit. This is Massachusetts, and to do anything to those street trees, you Gotta have a public hearing.
Okay,
That's why nothing ever gets done in the state.
all right.
There's a reason, I'm sure.
I know, I'm sure there is too, and I can tell you, somebody complained, somebody with some power, complained, I want that tree down.
Yeah, okay, so the public
Or
hearing.
vice
don't
versa,
want
right?
This committee can't authorise a public hearing, is that right?
No, that is,
No,
anything to do with the trees, Tim is in charge of, and he has to do it just the same way they have to do for
Any-
other public meetings.
Right,
It has to be posted in the newspaper in 2 separate weeks.
Here she is.
Hi, so
Yeah.
sorry.
It's,
and he has to get his instruction.
Hey, tell them not to have fire alarms at that time of the day.
Oh, yeah. I pulled an all-nighter last night. I haven't pulled an all-nighter in like
Oh,
a
gee.
long time.
We have,
Okay.
we have the camera on behind you, you might want to.
Oh, okay, so then that's it.
Oh, yeah.
This is so formal over here.
Yeah, that's it, that'll block the picture.
Yeah, lock the camera. Right, okay, right. Oh, glad you're right.
Okay, well, that's fine for me.
We'll just,
8 and
a
the
couple of minutes.
15.
Oh, okay.
I figured you'd have your own 26.
Yeah, and I've got.
I don't know how you do it.
What?
I don't know how you do it.
You'll have to watch the
All of
video
these
so
minutes.
you can hear all the wonderful things we said while you weren't here.
Okay.
How you do it.
Yes.
She has youth photos.
Anything.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'll fill you in.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, so we just gone through the minutes, a couple of small amendments which we can.
Okay, sounds good.
And so now, right, let's get back on track.
Yeah, so
We're
note
going
that
through-
down one time. Hey, Jan, note that down, what she got here, so now we have a full conference.
Forum.
Yeah.
You got the time she came in?
Um,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can start taking notes from
Right.
You haven't missed much, we had to
No.
25 minutes
Right.
talking about minutes.
Studying the maps and, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're going through now the to-do items. One of them on here was ascertaining who owns all the trees. We decided the Green owns, responsible to hold the trees, which means that if there is any adjustment taken down or whatever, that has to be thrown over to the tree warden, and presumably he gets his instruction from the selectmen, yes? Or does he do it? Is it his initiative to do it? How does
Neither,
or
that
do we-
doesn't matter to us, really.
He has to get an instruction.
Getting in touch with him and letting him know that,
He
we,
posts a meeting, the
Yeah.
public
Right.
meeting, has to put the ad in the paper for 2 weeks. Just the same as if you were going to go before the Conservation Commission or the zoning board, and it has to be posted publicly, it has to be posted in the paper so people can be able to come in and speak. Plus, he has to post the trees themselves. with-
Physically,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have to all have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the yellow
right.
ribbon around the old oak tree thing, you know,
Yeah.
so,
no, he actually has signs. that-
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
So-
just sort of thinking that because I think there is general impression, we want to get things going even before the next hearing. Some of the stuff was like necessary, what I think someone said was necessary work, and I don't know what the lead time is for postings and all the rest of it, it's maybe.
It seemed like they were talking about the tree trimming
Yeah.
and like assessment,
just
which
make-
Tim's gonna do, and
Yeah.
then the gypsum.
Yeah,
Right. But he was talking that the tree work could be done in December, which would be an ideal time, so
Right,
we've got the whole month of November to get the, some warrant or whatever it is that he has
He
to
does
post.
it, we have
He-
nothing to do
here
with
and-
it.
Right, but
Yeah.
he,
but is he getting some sort of guidance from us, or do we just say
No,
it's in your hands?
He-
we were going to send a letter to the selectmen
with our recs.
Right,
Did
right.
you have that?
right now.
I don't, but I will, I'll do
Yeah.
it after
Yeah.
this. If we align on what we want to include in that, then I can follow up and send it.
Stump
I wonder-
removal, I think.
Yeah,
Tree trimming and tree assessment.
the repair work on the hole in the
Oh, yeah.
storm drain thing, whatever, where there's a
That
code.
sinkhole.
Yeah, that needs, I mean, that's a hazard.
And I think the drain is already on their to-do list, as we had discussed, but we could
The
put that on
pond
the
drain
list.
or that storm
The
drain?
pond drain.
Both, there's the storm
The
drain.
storm drain, I think, is on state property, though, I think that's what they.
That's really close, you know what, that is really close.
That they-
Yeah, I looked
the
at it, and I
state-
couldn't make a determination.
I think Jim said
Sounds good.
that it was
Yeah,
on state, that was state's responsibility, and he was gonna contact them.
Okay, I'll include it on the list though.
Taking care of that
I think it is,
sinkhole.
it is their storm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Anyway.
moving on to the letters of the selectmen, let's get all the points down, okay?
I think the other thing was the gypsum too, and
Yep.
putting that down,
Right.
I don't know if we want this to be in the early set, but painting the flagpole, painting and fixing the flagpole and painting the backstop.
So,
Do we want that in the initial set that goes out, or?
painted,
Let's see why not.
is it best to be painted in spring? I
You
don't
can't,
know. Or does it
it's
matter?
gotta be, well, I've been, go by the guideline, it has to be at least about 50 degrees before you
Yeah, that's
The
right.
full up.
And it's, I think it,
painting
Oh, not if the latex doesn't fit.
outside.
Latex you can get away with much colder.
Yeah, but you're outside still too in the weather,
Is
so
it-
I realize nowadays the paint dries so fast, if you don't catch the drip quick enough, it's there. I mean, not like we used to, like, literally,
Yeah.
that phrase was like watching paint dry,
Yeah.
is no longer applicable to situations, so
Quite right.
it's almost instantaneous.
But I'm just wondering the letter to the selectmen whether the painting thing is.
More long. Is this
Because
just,
by the time they get here,
Well, that's
put it in
right.
the process, it'll be freezing and.
yeah,
Well, because like the gentleman that lives in the Parsons house on the corner of Hanover and High, he's the one that spoke about
Doing it,
getting
Yeah.
volunteers to do some of those things, of like paint the whole
yeah.
backboard again and stuff like that. We could, certainly, it might be helpful to have volunteers to do it, so.
Yep.
Get people involved. Look at, they did, the whole town hall got redone
Right.
that way. The
I know,
outside of it
I
and
know I'm-
everything, it was beautiful.
I know I'm on camera, but Tracy has a
So-
thing, she doesn't like volunteers.
Well, I think in some things that it's because of liability, I
That's
think.
right, I'm sure
Yeah.
it is. Oh,
So
I'm
we
sure
could
it is.
ask about that, but I think there probably is not too much worry about someone falling over to paint the vest. As
On
opposed
the
to
down wall.
As opposed to the
the
flagpole.
flagpole, that
Trying
would
to
be
get
a
the
The
lot.
flagpole has got to be taken
Yeah,
down.
but that's not like your average person isn't gonna be
No.
trying to get those bolts loose and then take the pole down and then tie it off the bottom, so that might be definitely a DPW.
Yep,
Guys.
definitely
I'll
so.
have to get it printed.
So in this letter, because the way I understood it, it sounds like the way we're thinking about it, but I just wanna make sure that I'm thinking about it the right way. This is like the quick hits, like things we recommend soon, with the notation that we're continuing on with our discussions, the
Yeah.
second
Well-
public forum, and then we'll put together a more comprehensive set of recommendations.
What the person says
Yes, that's-
in the comments, where are the comments? They were talking about the trees
Mm-hmm,
and the gypsum,
yeah.
and I believe that's all they were talking
That
about.
was Jim Moran.
Yes,
Was that
yes,
Jim?
if we make it too.
I wrote down the names of the two people.
So you're saying two, like, we wanna keep it really short?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, otherwise, because a lot of these will all go in the main recommendation. That's why I
Okay.
think we probably missed the boat for the painting because of the weather.
Okay.
By the
I'll
time they get
exclude
round to
that.
it, it will be all frozen up.
So right now I've got the stumps,
You really have.
the tree trimming, repairing the sinkhole and the drain and the gypsum, and then I'll include it, we can decide whether we wanna put it in this one or the next one, the suggestion to start soliciting volunteers.
I mean, there used to be, excuse me, quite a few years back now, there was a Upper Green Beautification Society.
Was there?
Yes,
I
I
didn't
did
know.
a lot of
Specific
research.
for the Upper Green?
Specifically for the Upper Green,
Wow.
so
I bet the Lunts were involved in
I'm
that.
sure they were,
I
so.
bet it
Well,
was the
weren't there
lunch.
like competitions for the best green or something?
Oh, I don't know.
I think there, wasn't there, I sort of read something
There was
Got
a-
In
into
New England,
that.
I think it was in New England.
There was actually a thing, in the 1987, called the Newbury Improvement Trust. That was for the green. And before that, they did have a thing called the Upper Green Improvement Society, because it was in the 1800s.
Mm.
Huh.
Did they
So
have a
over the
bank
course-
So
roll?
we're doing,
Hmm?
Did they have a bank account?
No,
it's all volunteers.
they all paid dues to be in the society, and they used the money to like plant flowers and things like that,
But
so.
weren't the ones really into plantings
They
too?
were into probably everything to do with the green, I
Yeah.
think, because they were very, from what I understand, I didn't know them, but they
Yeah.
were very concerned and involved in quite a few things, I would think.
Well, back then, it used to be, they used to have sales and events, didn't they? I mean, much more.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Sort of like, it was more of a community thing. than
Oh,
today.
absolutely.
It
had.
there was like a yard
Yard
sale, the
sales.
flea market
Yeah.
things and
You had
different things,
firemen, the volunteer fire department,
the carnival.
yeah,
Carnival,
they had a
yes.
carnival every year, what was that, June? Yeah, it was in June, I believe, every year. They had a carnival, they'd burn a building there and have the firemen come in and fight the fire. They had canoe tilts on the pond,
Right.
believe it or not.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah,
I would
right.
like that.
So, well, if you improve it, it may generate
Yeah.
more
That was
interest.
before they had canoe
Things like-
tilts on the mount.
Yeah, well, we won't be having too many canoe tilts on that pond right now, I don't think.
No,
Pond isn't quite as large, it used to
oh,
flowing.
same size. Same
I'll
size,
show you pictures from the 1800s.
it's the same size.
It went, the pond, yeah, but it would spread out further than it did now. There was no, I don't think there was a containment wall around
No,
that.
that's true, on the
Yeah.
east side, yeah, on the.
Because we have pictures that it goes way, almost to Green Street in some of the old photos.
Wow.
That's when it flooded.
Yeah. But still, it was there, so.
Bring them in, I'd love to see that, I think we should see that, if you got a photo like that.
So, letters to selectmen, can you draft
Yep, I'll
one,
grab
circle
that and
it
send it
around?
around with these things
and
that we
then,
just discussed. Mhm.
I'd make a suggestion at the beginning of it might be an intro of, that we had the public forum, and we did
Okay.
have like close to 20 people there, and
Yeah.
a number of people offered, if nothing else, support. A lot of people were very happy to be there, I think, so. something to
Yeah,
that
it was a
effect.
really nice
It was a
meeting.
nice meeting,
Yep,
it was
it's very
no,
positive, good feedback.
Yeah.
Including.
There is a movie of that meeting on Mike Doyle's Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna transfer it over to the town Facebook website or something.
well, I know he told me he was taking it, so, and he was, I know, I was watching him taking it, so
Yeah,
that
no,
was
he-
good,
he-
so.
Well, you
You
know,
said, yeah.
because people did mention afterwards, they thought it was such a nice meeting, but don't forget, it wasn't a public hearing, it
Right.
wasn't formal, so.
No, there was no decision.
That's why we didn't
Although we did have a gavel, so.
Just in case,
That was a little
Just in
more-
case.
just in case, that was just in case.
But there was no voting on it, so I didn't.
Yeah, that's true,
So,
yeah.
Okay, so that you'll circulate
Mm-hmm.
around as soon as you can. And then we can comment accordingly. Right, okay, any more to-do items or anything else? So we've-
Yeah, I don't think there's any
I
need
think
of a
it
motion
was.
there, because we made the motion at the last meeting, so.
Right.
There was some concern about extending the guardrail down Hanover Street, I think, to protect the kids a little more.
Did they say guardrail or did they say fence?
said
Because
fence.
some
They were
people
saying
said
fence, and I
And
said,
fence is inappropriate
a
on
guard,
that.
extending the
Yes.
guardrail another like 4 feet or something wouldn't, and if we like painted the inside of it black, you wouldn't really notice it,
Yeah.
and something similar to that, just so that when the kids are like behind the bench, which kids often are, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
to talk to each other, but they don't wanna miss what's going on in the field, at least it would be a little bit of
Yes.
protection that if they stepped back, they're not now in the street.
Is this along,
But
there's the bench there? bench-
Yeah,
Yep.
see whether you can see the two benches
Yeah,
on
I've
the
got
map.
both sides there,
This
so they,
guardrail that comes around here.
I mean, if you figure the guardrail's
that
already
the guard?
partway
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Hanover
right,
Street,
right, I got
almost
you,
to where the
yeah.
bench is, if not partly there.
ah, no,
Yeah, this
you're
is
right,
a-
it
this
doesn't
is-
quite, is that right? I mean,
it is almost to the bench.
bench,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
there.
there
This
it
is it, so in other words, if both sides go, you know, 8 feet or something, does it make?
Yeah,
a big-
that's a really good idea, because I feel like, I
Yeah,
mean, that's been, all the baseball changes have been contentious, but it's also
Yeah.
hard because the baseball league always stands up and it's hard to argue against safety for children. So it seems like that actually might be a good compromise, like
And I mean, there's
not,
already a guardrail there,
Yeah,
yes.
so it's not like it's a whole new,
I like the way we make it black as well, so.
that's just the way, cause it would just
blend.
not be like this bright shiny
I-
thing
I
lit
don't
on.
think it would be a bad thing to
Well-
suggest putting it in front of the parking area, right along.
Oh,
Hanover
I
Street.
think, now I'm gonna get concerned, because I'm a little bit concerned anyway. But I don't mind extending it just a little bit here. But
You wouldn't-
otherwise, this is starting to detract from the historic nature of this property. If you
Yeah.
start
Right, I was trying to
gathering
come
it-
up with a compromise for the
And-
kids' safety versus,
Well, and then the
I mean, I
fellow
don't wanna see like
representing
a
the
chain link
the
fence.
little
you know,
league.
that'd be
No,
so
well,
hard.
which
Mr.
was-
Gavin.
Which is,
The fellow that was interested in the baseball there, the league, he suggested a fence, he wanted a fence. Now, that is totally inappropriate to
Correct,
this
yeah.
property.
but it's not.
It's totally inappropriate. This is not a little league baseball field. This is a field that's been there for a long time,
Yeah,
But-
but I
Let's
think,
call it
but
a
not
pickup
forever.
field, so.
but I think another,
probably since baseball was played in this area, as
Well, I
again.
have found notations that actually earlier than I thought about baseball being around, was in like the mid-1800s.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
And,
Go to Little
No.
Farm and watch them play. They
There's
play
space,
1860
yeah.
rules. Have you
Yeah.
been?
no. I don't
It's
remember
terrific.
seeing
Go.
so,
It's
I mean,
terrific.
how long ago was the
Oh,
was the field actually there? It's gotta be, it was certainly before the I
Oh,
would say,
yeah, I'm
before
sure.
the 1900s.
I'm sure
but
baseball was very
maybe
more
late
popular then than
80s,
it is now, I think.
1880s or something like that, but it is there, it wasn't placed there by an official anything.
Yeah.
So it should stay, in my opinion, and we've already voiced this on the historical commission on numerous occasions,
Yeah.
you know.
Seems that in hearing the feedback from people too and reading through the notes from the Green ER session, it seems like a lot of people feel that way too, that they wanna keep it a pickup.
I
And
mean,
you know,
the only people, it seems to me, and it's not like it's a judgment or anything, the only people who wanted the field moved are the people who have kids now playing in the Little League games there.
But you know, the field at the Little Farm where they play the 1860 rules, their field is oriented just totally backwards from this. So that it faces northeast, just like Fenway Park does, it faces basically northeast. And at the end of the season, you should have seen those poor fellows trying to field fly balls. Because they were complaining about the people at the plate having trouble seeing the pitch being thrown. But it's just the other way around, trying to field the ball,
right.
and the guys are out there like this. They can't see a thing.
Yeah.
So
And
it's,
that's the way
It
it is.
seems like no matter which way you're gonna go,
Yeah.
yeah,
and because my theory was either you're gonna not be able to see to pitch, or you're not gonna be able to see to hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you have to-
depending on what time of day it is,
Yeah.
and what time of year especially it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I think it would be nice if we could come up with some kind of a compromise,
Yeah,
even if it's, a couple of wooden slats, almost like the back of the bench, a little bit further up on the, just a little bit, not like the length of this table, but just enough to give a
Yeah.
little place where the kids could huddle behind the bench maybe and not be a
You
problem.
mean to bring them in, yeah.
I don't think there's any problem there at all right now.
You're talking,
move the benches in
put a thing up here.
I
instead of,
don't know, I think
Have
they're
to
talking about
walk, yeah.
moving this up
I
here,
feel
but
like
I
I
don't
need to
know, I don't know
orient
what you're
when
talking
I was there.
I don't know, you're right.
But then
We
you
need to
can't
review
get
it.
them too close
We'll
because they're
leave
gonna
it
get
set
hit by
aside. Use it
you
there.
know,
Yeah, that's
any
right.
kind
That's
of
it.
a-
Yeah, that's
a
skewed.
foul ball,
Yeah,
Leave it
even
alone.
if it's a line drive, they're
Yeah,
gonna get
it's-
picked off, so.
Not too many line drives on the.
Well, you know,
Anyway, we'll
but
put that
we
one there.
can
We need
throw,
to
you
review
know,
that.
we can play with that a little,
Yeah.
and maybe somebody will have a suggestion that doesn't include lots of metal
Yeah,
with,
Yeah.
and, you know, keep
Yep.
it looking rusticy would be nice, so.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't wanna change the appearance of the green.
no, I think,
So we're not recalcitrant, but we would
No.
like to find a happy medium, I guess would be the,
right, we've got to be
Way to phrase it.
inclusive to all the users
Yeah.
somehow
I
or other.
mean, I certainly don't wanna see kids getting hurt, but I don't wanna move the entire baseball field around either, so.
No, that's gonna happen. Okay, what's, to do letter and public forum, reviewing suggestions and comments.
That's what we've been doing.
Well, I've got some, on this, on the next one, I think we should have the attendees say who they are and where they're from, somehow or other. Either we record it, or they have to tell us. I think it'd be useful for follow-ups,
You know, we were talking about having a sign-in sheet.
sign-in sheet
Oh, I
or
like
something
that
like
idea.
that, yeah.
I mean, we've had, it's almost like a if you think of it, it's like having a guest book. I mean, just
Yeah.
have people sign in
Yeah, it shouldn't be a
so
problem.
that,
We're providing cider and everything, you know. You know, it is more of a, so anyway, it's quite good. And because, you know, this is a great way of putting it down, but some of they were the same people, you see.
Oh, right,
see,
yeah.
So
Mhm.
it makes it look as though 50, whatever number of people spoke. But
That's
it's
good,
good,
yeah.
and I like it's nice and short, see what they all are. So that was for the next meeting, something, when is the next meeting gonna be? What's the next thing?
thank
wonder if
goodness
we're-
it isn't gonna be this month.
No.
We've had 4 meetings this month.
It's gonna be in the new year, I would think, because we've probably got to do a bit more work on the tree selection and throw it back to,
Yeah, because I assume that what we're working for the next meeting, right, is to basically say, here is now a more formal, what we're planning to propose,
Right.
and getting feedback on that,
And-
now more formal proposal.
and following the letter to the selectmen, the feedback, we've started, things are in process,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have got that, so that's why I think it's probably gonna be next. I'm just concerned that there was a time limit on this, wasn't there? 6
6
months
From the
From-
first meeting.
Which
Is
is
it
like,
July?
first meeting,
or-
yeah.
Or August. Actually, I think it was August. Someone was on
First.
vacation.
It did actually say since the formation of the committee.
I think that was in
original
July.
thing. But I think it would be stretching it, because we didn't get going until the first meeting, which was in August, right?
Yeah.
So I think, which puts it to January sometime. To be
When is
fine
the
with that.
next selectmen's meeting besides tomorrow night is a combined meeting with the planning board? Their own meeting is what, the
Well, there's
second
no-
and,
there's no meeting tonight,
right.
so it's every other.
Hmm.
So it's next Tuesday.
So they should be having one on the 5th, I'm guessing. I don't know, I have my, smart thing with me, just my phone. So then the town meeting is the 12th.
Yeah.
So because I think on the 5th, they have to make sure that everything with they do the budget, don't they, I think, before and get the book ready.
The
Oh,
finance
oh.
committee gets the book ready.
That's the spring meeting, isn't it?
So as long as we get the letter to the Board of Selectmen, then they'll have it on their next agenda so that they can take care of it whenever the next meeting is. So the thing is to get the letter into them, let Ellen submit it.
Because there's no point in having another forum discussion if it's just going to be like this. There's nothing new. We've got to be able to say, look, selectmen something, actually do the same sort of thing. We give a little bit of a talk about what's happened since the last one. We can go through all that.
Yeah, and I think also, as you're discussing too, like the more, you know, because we can actually say, okay, there are X number of stumps, we're planting X number of trees, here are the ones that we're recommending, and then people will have more of like a concrete
Yeah.
thing to
Yes,
react to.
which ones have not been taken down and which ones need to be taken
Yeah.
down.
And that we might not, well, I guess it depends on the timing, because Tim will need to have done the trimming and pruning to
Right.
know that.
Yeah.
I think there's only one tree that's gonna come down myself.
Oh, someone agreed with me that one of those Christmas trees should come down.
Yeah, me.
No, someone, I think it was also
Oh,
someone from who I was speaking to
The
afterwards.
skinny
Oh,
one?
yeah, oh, that's good.
Yes, which is looking pretty dead anyway.
Yeah.
And totally agreed with it. So,
I don't disagree. I don't feel that's strong, but I don't, it doesn't matter really.
The little,
What?
well, the two of them are almost on top of each other as it is.
Yeah.
And
Well,
this-
not really, but
No, but I mean, that
You
they're
need
certainly
one.
not
One's got
spread
one.
across the green.
one is
Yeah.
really sparse,
Yeah.
and
That's,
the other one's curved.
yeah, but the curve I can live with, the skinny
Yeah,
one looks like
exactly.
Charlie Brown now, the poor thing, so
Right.
Yeah.
it should be put to sleep. I mean, at least the other one, when it's decorated, looks nice, I mean,
It's decorated now.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, it's always
they just leave the lights on so they don't have to worry about getting them on in the weather, so, which is not really a horrible idea, but.
right, I think it's fine, yes. But that came up afterwards. We'll put that to Tim, what he thinks.
So I guess, what are we saying, we're gonna wait to ask, see when Tim is having a public meeting, before we decide when we're having a meeting next?
Yes, because, I mean, otherwise we're not really giving them anything new, any sort of things that have been done, you know, it's too short. There won't be any change to what we've just been through. We can at least go back with, yes, we need X number of trees, these come down, these get replaced by this selection here, and then throw it over, what do you think?
We had a little quickie discussion about, we were hoping that we're gonna have a dedication.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's good.
It's like
dedication
a
to.
faux ribbon cutting to the new and improved green,
Oh, cute.
so.
May not be till the summer.
Yeah, not
Well, yeah.
Everything gets, by the
We get the
time
ladies
everything
Summer
gets
will
done.
be the next one.
Father,
Yeah.
Oh,
Planning to do it.
nice. Oh, that's nice.
I think it just binds it all in, makes
Oh,
the
that's
human
really nice.
element, because after all, some of the trees may or may not be
Oh, that's really nice.
taken down that were part of her legacy. What was her name? Cunningham, wasn't it? Cunningham family?
It's a Cunningham family, it's
Yeah.
Wilma Buckley,
Right,
that's both.
so we just sort of do something like that.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, we might end up chopping down some of her trees, who knows?
Yeah, right.
She doesn't know, but anyway, at least she buys in with the idea, well,
Yeah.
you can be part of the dedication, whatever we do.
Yeah, I think that was a nice
I
idea,
like
actually,
that,
I mean, the Cunninghams have been here for a long time and done a lot.
Yeah, and
Especially
it's a good
Her father,
binding,
Oh, yeah.
binding in local,
you know, he did a whole book on cemeteries that he left down at the schoolhouse too, and it shows every cemetery in the area and,
wow, that's pretty good.
yeah, a lot of details,
I mean,
so it would be nice, they are a nice family, it's
Oh,
for the town.
Excellent, and on that subject, are there any lumps around that could be part of it as well?
My understanding was they were the end of the line.
That was the end of the
Okay.
line, from what I
Isn't there?
understood
All right.
too.
But that sort of thing, you get someone who's, you know, attached to the area, who's got credibility and name
Yeah, I think that.
We have a whole host of those people.
Right. Certainly.
People
yes,
that
we use it.
Families that have been here since 1635 are still here, so, yeah.
Right.
Some are.
Yeah, some are.
Well, some of the, I don't know, the Atkinsons are still around, aren't they?
Hmm?
The Atkinsons.
That's the family that had the
At
auction.
the auction, they're still around.
Yeah, well,
One of them lives down near, I think, Cottage Road.
Middle.
Right.
Craig,
You know, you
yeah.
just turn on. You know, it sort of brings us in the historic side of it. Okay, right. So, we've got to escalate this with the tree warden. So we move ahead with his idea so that he can then put in motion the notices.
Well, should we notify the selectmen first of what we've
That should go in
found
the letter. Yeah.
so far, so then they can help him?
So we're gonna have to have a meeting to
Approve the
approve
letter.
the letter,
Correct, yeah.
approve the minutes of this meeting.
Approve the letter, that's really all we need to cover. And the letter should put in
Mm-hmm.
the process that we need your,
Approval.
whatever it is, approval to go to the tree warden to go and do this, whatever we need to do.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
you
Well,
should-
let's compose the letter right now.
Good. Do you want me to, I've got my computer.
Then we don't need another meeting for that.
No, we just need to send it.
Well,
right
because
off.
otherwise we just delay.
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
I quite agree, yeah.
Wanna get something done.
While you're firing up, I'm gonna use the,
Sounds good.
which I presume is through there.
Yeah, right through the door and you can just go to the left.
James White wants, I never noticed that. Cheap building.
Someone else pointed that out to me.
Cheap building?
No, that the floor moves.
It's a cheap building.
Yeah. I'll be on the first floor soon.
Just what you're gonna get with the police station. Cheap building. Yeah, I know.
Keep it down, boys.
Hmm?
Keep it down.
Okay. You don't know me.
Yes, I do. That would be why I'm saying something.
What is the address here, 12 Kent Way?
Yes.
I would say Byfield.
Well, it's Newberry, but it's a village of Byfield. So
It's
there's a
You
different-
put Byfield in
Different.
the,
Newbury,
Oh, really?
Newbury.
what is this? Oh,
01922.
1922.
Byfield.
Newbury.
Oh, 1922.
You gotta learn that one.
All
Been
right.
here long enough.
I live on Plum Island. Don't talk to me.
Have you looked at your beach at the center?
No.
I took my wife down today.
God.
Oh, they had a big wide beach there a month ago. It is gone. Completely gone. It's eating right in. If we have a normal weather, there's gonna be cottages and
Mind the parking lot?
it'll be very well. It's probably gonna go right down into the bathrooms. Yeah.
Future.
It was such a high beach when I was a kid. I thought we'd never get to the water when I was a kid, going down the big huge slope to get down to the water.
Hey, you got a place on the right part of the island.
I used to call it the quiet side, now I call it the safe side.
Yes. Have you sent, do you send this on headed paper, or sort of,
It's just a Word document.
yeah, on
Letterhead?
letterhead, yeah, from, because there isn't any for planning commission, but it's part of the Newbury.
She has the,
She can use use
She has the proper.
proper, yeah, you can use it on this, right?
Yes, I sent her the town seal that the historical commission uses.
Excellent.
It's not the one that do.
Um,
Alright, so, dear Board of Selectmen, we, the Upper Green Advisory Committee, wanted to follow up after holding
our first,
Public
the
forum.
first
The
public
first
forum held at the Newbury Library on Saturday, October 26, 2019. We were very happy to see significant or
encouraged,
yeah,
encouraged
maybe
to
like-
see,
I like that word, yeah. We were
um,
encouraged to see meaningful town
support.
Interest.
meaningful town support and interest in the worthy cause of
Restoring the upper green.
restoring the upper
Green.
restoring the historic.
That would be a good one.
Favorite word.
Yep, right.
There were, we
Horizon
estimate that approximately, how many people do you guys think?
18.
Oh, no.
Frank-
Oh, really?
Or
Frank
18.
counted.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have
Nearly
to estimate.
20.
Excuse me.
Okay, there were nearly, 20, were they all Newbury residents?
That is a good question.
We
We
that
don't
was- we
have
didn't
that answer.
ask. That was something we're gonna do for the next.
Okay.
But we assume so, but we don't have
Okay,
that
there were
answer. I think they were all
nearly
agreed.
20,
Attendees or,
if it were than attendees,
supporters,
What are you working on?
nearly 20, what were they?
Attendees is a good word.
Who were
Okay.
they?
Yeah.
Citizens of Newbury.
Yeah, 'cause
we'll
it
keep
is
it
a
for
bit-
now. That's the
It's a bit as though
the source.
it's like attending a
They could-
conference, but it's not, it's, supporters or, anyway, it's,
We could also just say there were nearly 20 people in attendance.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
Nearly 20 people in
Okay.
attendance. We received, during this meeting, we outlined a number of preliminary,
I don't think you need to go through that.
no, don't even get into
Well, I
that.
don't think so. You're going on and on and on, and I think we need to get to the point that,
Okay,
that we received, one of the comments we received was to immediately, I don't know how,
yes,
I'm
because
just being rough here, but to immediately get going on,
immediately going rather than wait until the end
on
of
the tree issue and on the gypsum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
to move quickly.
which should be done before winter sets in,
Of
you know, sort
the
of.
repairs, which could benefit, from,
Because they'd never get round to replanting
No.
this year.
no, remember
You
Tim
said wait
said,
till spring.
even though fall's a better time for planting, Tim said the availability of trees was better in the spring.
Right, right, so yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
You could include the discussion points, just bring, attach
Okay,
it,
yeah,
instead
that's a
of
good-
recreating the wheel.
okay, yeah, during this meeting, yeah, I do like that, we discussed and received input on, a list of repairs for consideration. This, please see the attached list on page 2. One comment we received was to move quickly with a couple of what appeared to be widely accepted, endorsed, widely supported repairs, which would
Should be
be
done
best done before winter. These repairs are as follows.
I think we get too much.
Too
in
was,
this letter.
too much?
I think so.
Well, we'll just get it all
You,
down.
you need to do the letter more like you do the meetings.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Right.
serious, the
Yeah.
meeting,
Okay,
the minutes
just
are like
really
boom, boom,
short.
boom,
Yeah, yeah,
like
Carry on, let's
That would
just
be
get
more
them down,
me.
yeah,
Okay.
verbose.
yeah.
Okay, these repairs are as follows. Remove stumps from the green,
Just remove stumps.
Removes.
Yep,
okay, remove stumps.
yep. Tree
Do we wanna note that
assessment.
ultimately these will be like, eventually we're gonna be suggesting that those get replanted, although we're not
Yes.
Well, yeah.
suggesting that
Yeah,
now.
they will be, but
Right.
they may say,
But-
well, why do you need to remove them now if you're not gonna replant until next year? Right, I think it's right dealing with tree limbs or the stuff that needs to be.
So less stumps.
Yeah, cause they're gonna have to bring a
Tree
machine
trimming.
in to plant
Yeah,
new
yeah, yeah.
trees, they
Okay.
can take
The-
the stumps then.
They need to do the tree pruning, what's the
Trimming
tree trimming,
and
pruning,
health
Assessment.
assessment.
and tree
Yeah,
assessment.
So your
Yeah.
tree
Tree
assessment.
trimming and health assessment.
Yeah, health
To
assessment.
be
Yeah.
done
That's-
by tree warden
Yeah.
and Lamprey.
And the
Say
spreading
he
of
was-
gypsum.
Who was
Yeah,
present at the
begin-
meeting.
And the spreading of gypsum on the,
The first application of
On the
gypsum.
grass.
Yes,
Before
because he
winter.
said it's gonna be a suck it and see thing, you know, he's gonna put it
Right.
out if it works, good, if it doesn't, he'll do something
Yeah.
else. But you can't.
somebody had the concern of, I guess that was Cunningham, they had the concern of lead, because
No,
there's no lead under there. There's no lead. If you look around,
Yeah.
you gotta go behind Sylvia's house really to find lead.
Yeah. And even if it
Behind
doesn't
down.
work, it's a relatively inexpensive way to hopefully,
Right,
Yeah.
no, it's gotta work.
Yeah, but what was the, relating to drainage, wasn't there, there was the.
unless we do for this, I mean, cause I think those are already on there. In fact, we know they're already on their radar, so maybe we do just keep it with these two things and keep it
Yep.
short.
Yep,
I think so.
I agree.
Cause it's doable.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. We wanted to,
Can
we
say
are sending
Tim was
this,
at the meeting and is already appraised
Okay.
of these or something,
Um,
just,
and would Tim be the one to do the gypsum too?
No,
No, the town will
The
do that.
town would do that,
But
okay.
he'd tell them, you know, what the application would be as
he'll
far
talk
as,
to you
how
one
many-
day.
Yeah, it's a
Pounds
letter to the
per-
select, and they're gonna
yeah,
delegate this. I would hope.
but just to let the selectmen know that we got the ball rolling, and that's what we've found so far, and it could be done prior to us,
Right.
disbanding at the end of our 6-month tenure.
yes, I mean, it's an interim preliminary list of things that can be actioned straight away.
I would, while she's doing that, I would just call everybody's attention to the fact that, I don't know if Robin's noticed on the lower green, but I have, and on the upper green, how since the storm, nothing's been picked up.
Leaves, you mean?
Yeah, no,
Branches?
leaves, no, I mean branches, yeah.
Really?
I brought that
I've been,
to the attention of the town administrator this afternoon,
You did?
yes,
I've been around picking up,
because I put
Yeah.
signs down the green for the wreaths for the veterans,
but
Oh,
so I went up Newman and went across the backside
yeah, and there they are.
and said there are limbs everywhere
Yep.
from the storm.
And it's an upper green, up above the flagpole, there's branches all over the place, they haven't been picked up. Yeah, it's just a sign of the lack of maintenance.
Well, it was what,
in the
last
greens.
Thursday? Yeah,
They're better than they were, but they got a ways to go.
Speaking of the wreaths, I talk to Ellen about submitting receipts for the snacks from the forum the other day. She said, leave them on her desk and she'll send it down for payment if you wanna donate that and get some wreaths.
That works for me,
Just a
I'll define
suggestion.
mine,
if
but I think that, I think it's crumpled in my car somewhere. But yeah, I'd be on board with doing that and then donating the money.
I can't do anything with flour and sugar.
No,
No.
that's it.
I don't have a grocery store receipt.
Labor.
All right, but just
I-
wanted,
Pumpkin spice.
I just wanted to know that I talked to her about it, and she was,
I'm
she
aware.
was willing to submit it.
We have to be proactive for the next one, and not assume that that's gonna happen.
Then what will happen?
About, any reimbursement for things.
Oh,
Yeah.
Run it by the selectmen first before we see how we are underneath them. We serve a big pressure.
Well,
Okay. Right. How we doing?
Good,
Whilst she's doing that, I thought the list of trees we had were pretty good. No one had any comments. In fact, someone came up to me saying it's great that they were all indigenous trees, because I don't think that was the case in the previous
No, not at all.
thing. I mean, I can see it, but
Is
apparently
it
it was,
copious?
I don't know what I don't know what they are. But
I went to the meeting of 3DR, like when they did an info session, and it got pretty heated on the trees.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was one that was pretty heated.
A lot of people would, a lot of people actually had the same comments, which were, why would you put only one kind of tree?
oh, were they all the same tree?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they wanted to replace every tree on the green and put all the Zacovia trees there.
I don't even know what
30
is it.
of them.
Is it,
wasn't it 30 of them?
I don't know.
is it indigenous, is it? I don't know where.
They were removing, what, 40 trees and putting in 35 or
Something.
something, yeah.
That's, I'm surprised, yeah, I can imagine, it is pretty heated, I mean, that's,
There's things that might work in Newburyport, which is at a much higher elevation, really, maybe not much, but still at a higher elevation than we are down here. You can have different conditions, totally different conditions.
That's what they chose.
but why do we have it all the same anyway? I mean, you know, in any woods, you always get variety.
Well, if you look at alleys, you know, they're all the same tree, you know, and that's what they've got in the report, is an alley right there.
Eucalyptus or something.
But they don't look anything like an elm tree. They don't have the shape of an elm tree. They're trying to duplicate an elm tree, but they don't even look at all like an elm tree. The bark isn't the same, the shape isn't the same.
I mean, the light green has got a nice variety of trees. Maybe some of them are what
Yeah,
what
evergreen's
they
got a
call
nice-
what, junk trees,
We have a
but,
variety of trees in the evergreen.
yeah, so. It's, variety is nice, I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah,
you know, there's,
variety gets you more,
we have deciduous trees, evergreen trees, the birds.
it's important for birds
It's
and
and-
insects and everything else.
They like
And it's
variety.
important, in case you get a blight, that's the big
That's
thing.
the, yeah,
That's a good point,
Yes, that's what happened to the
Hence
elm
what
trees,
happened
that's what
to
happened to the chestnut trees.
yeah, yes.
And it can happen to anything. It's gonna happen with the ash trees.
Ash.
yeah, the
is-
Bora.
And it's the
Right.
biggest ash tree I ever have seen is on the upper green.
Oh, that big, yeah.
I've never seen an ash tree that big, yeah.
Which side is that on?
It's by.
That's on Green Street.
Is that the one
Yeah.
that's got the big huge limb that he
There
said
it
that's
is.
gonna have to come down?
I don't
It
remember.
says 44, what's the number by, is that the diameter or circumference or something? No, diameter.
No, it's a huge tree.
44, it's got 36 for Norway maple, 32.
We call it caliper, I think.
Well,
You're
it's a bit-
refining the one,
it's
little
a
bit,
bit-
yeah. I'm almost
That
there.
measure, I think it's
Is
5
that
feet.
solid?
because it's
around
not
there.
that long.
No,
You
it's
just
really
change-
short,
yeah.
yeah, I'm changing words.
Changing words. She's updating and sprucing.
Oh, good.
So, it's like two paragraphs.
It's really short.
So are we gonna wait now for Tim to make decisions on trees?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yes.
Before we have another meeting,
Are we-
or are we gonna have another meeting
Well,
Are we gonna,
before the holidays?
are we gonna take this list of trees and pare it down to, say, 5 or something like that? I mean, because we've got a long list, not long,
Well,
but
we
a
don't-
pretty extensive list
we
of
have,
trees.
but we don't know how many actually
Seven.
need to be replaced, and how many, we actually haven't counted up how many do we need to.
But do we want to give them the preferred types? That's what I'm saying.
Yes, to work with, because then they're gonna
Because
have to
maybe,
get
I was
a
thinking,
quotation.
for instance, along Hanover Street, there's no wires involved.
No,
And we could definitely go with the taller,
Bigger, taller.
taller, bigger trees on that side.
yep,
Uh,
That's a
Whereas,
good point.
and by the way, I remember your list, it had red maple, and the list said 40 feet. And there's several red maples there on the green that must be 75 or more. I didn't know they got that big myself, till I looked at them.
yeah,
So, I think maybe we need to do that.
pare it down, yeah, well, we'd have to give him some instruction, because they've got to go away, and come up with a cost, yeah?
Not that that's important for pruning and not important for the letter there right now, but for the spring, it would be important to give them,
It would be nice to, even with Tim's input, to basically say, for each spot on the green, here's the tree that we recommend.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys want me to read the
not the
letter?
trees. You still would have a mix, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, we'd say that on the tree stump, on this location of the green, we recommend a mulberry tree, or whatever the tree is. This, like, it would be a variety, but,
Yeah,
We
But
can pretty much
specify
use
the-
I
this
think we have to steer
here
it.
as, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can put a number on each one.
Well,
Oh,
then
yeah,
just say,
yeah,
yeah.
just put it down what we think, and we'll.
yeah.
I don't think you have to do it by number like that, but I do think that you have to, on the high road side, you got a wire problem.
Right, so the trees
Get
there
all
will
You
be,
want the tree set back and you don't want the big trees there.
no, there's the smaller ones there,
Yeah.
Those two,
And
the big
on
ones.
on the Hanover Street side, you know, it doesn't matter how big they grow there, really.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Alright, maybe I'll read it all and then we can go back.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, I do that.
Dear Board of Selectmen, we wanted to follow up after holding the first public forum held at the Newbury Library on October 26th. We are encouraged to see strong town support and interest in the restoration of the historic Upper Green. There were nearly 20 people in attendance. During this meeting, we discussed and received input on a preliminary list of repairs for consideration. While we are still working to compile a more formal list of repair recommendations, which will necessitate a second public forum meeting, one comment we received on Saturday was to move quickly with a couple of what appeared to be widely supported repairs, which would be best done before winter. That's a run-on sentence. We agree and submit the following recommendations for your consideration. 1, trim the trees on the green and conduct a simultaneous health assessment. This would be done by Tim Lamprey, who has been in discussions with us and agrees with this recommendation. And then number 2, completing a first application of gypsum on the green prior to this winter with the goal of improving drainage. Thank you for considering these repairs. We are happy to answer any questions about these recommendations, and we will follow up with a complete list of suggested repairs. Sincerely, the Upper Green Advisory Committee.
You used the word couple, can we use two?
Two, yeah.
Yeah,
Do we want them to come back to us, sort of look forward to confirmation or something?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
need-
suggest that when we send this, they're going to put it on an agenda.
They will, and they'll read it at
Right.
the
And then
selectmen's
ask if
meeting,
there's any
and they'll,
comments,
Yeah.
and they'll comment if there are any.
right.
So we
Amongst-
don't have to sort of ask for their specific acknowledgement or.
I don't
letter
believe
or-
so, because if they
Because
get this
it's-
letter, they're
they
going to
have
put it
to.
on the agenda because it is a receipt
Committee,
of our,
yeah, it's an official thing, yeah, okay,
so.
that's good, I think that's.
okay, do we need a motion for that? To approve the letter as written?
I mean, I'm editing my
With-
run-on sentence.
We already had a motion to write about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
With
yeah, I
minor,
think,
with any minor changes that may necessitate, I mean,
Yeah.
when you read it out loud, you go, oh,
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, wait a minute,
That wasn't good.
I don't think I really need to make a motion because
we already did.
we made a motion and
yes, the
that's,
motion
that's
was.
basically what we talked about, so.
So if I
Yeah,
pick
well,
away at this and I send this out tomorrow, do you think that we could, like, if people have edits, is that something that people could weigh in on via email, do you
As
think?
long as we don't reply to all,
So as long as people reply directly to me,
yeah.
and
Say,
then
I
I
think the
could,
second sentence, you could lose this word, and then see if everybody else
I
does
think
the
it
same
sounds
thing,
fine
but
the way it
if
is.
you're
Yeah,
just
I think
asking
it's
for an
fine.
opinion,
I
you're not
think
having a
We
discussion
all,
about
we
it.
at this end think it's
I think
fine.
it's fine.
okay,
Yeah.
then I'll pick away at
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
okay,
tomorrow I'll
nothing's
send
there,
it.
So we don't,
Okay, yes, that's
yeah,
good.
right, we don't,
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
they just
hold me a
lost
second.
it.
I
but
just-
we definitely don't need to sort of put something for them to come back to. We know it's gonna go in the pipeline process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do say that we're happy to answer
Yeah,
any
send
questions, so,
yeah. Okay.
It's fine.
okay.
Cause I'm guessing that they're gonna put it on the agenda, well, not probably the next one, because
For-
everything,
For
the next
yeah, it's
next
already
couple of
gone.
weeks is gonna be the town meeting,
Right, right.
so it would be
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
12th.
Be after the 12th.
They'll put it on,
Okay.
they will probably ask
Right.
us to ask at least
So-
having one or two members attend to speak for the group or whatever, if there was any questions, but.
Sure. So that after the 12th, I'm just sort of thinking, when can we have another forum which has something to discuss
You mean with
with the,
with an audience
With an
or
audience,
with
yeah.
us?
Forum,
No,
yeah,
no
no,
audience.
he said forum.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because we kept
Because-
using the word public meeting
Public
before,
meeting,
but
yeah.
they're all public meetings.
right, yes, when we can have a,
I wonder if it's worth, and I'm happy because I've been on emails now with Tim, to reach out to Tim to ask when he expects to have the trimming done and the assessment.
yeah,
And, because irrespective of this letter, I think he's doing that anyway.
right,
So then we find out when he'll have that for us, and then we should probably set the
Start.
meeting for right after
right.
that.
Which would be a meeting for us here, that's one thing. So,
Yeah.
no, there's no point having a meeting until we've got something to talk about,
Yeah.
i.e. his assessment, which is crucial.
Are costs, like contemplation of costs, I know that we've considered it a little bit in trying to pick out things that are cost effective, but,
Nothing, we have nothing to do with cost.
okay, so we're just making recommendations and they'll
Yeah,
figure it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna ask Tim
Yeah,
about,
how much?
you know, what caliber, what size tree we're gonna need to get, whether it's, you know, are we getting one this big, or are we getting one, you know,
That's,
20 feet tall to start, it's all gonna affect the cost, but
Oh, absolutely.
that's not our decision.
No,
Our decision is to just recommend types that we think would be attractive
Right,
on the
that's-
green with his recommendations also, right?
right.
But we need another meeting at some point before Christmas.
After,
That's all, this will all come out before Christmas. The answer to, you know, if they're gonna trim the trees like we suggested. They're gonna do an assessment, if they're gonna be able to do the gypsum. But meeting after that, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I
first.
don't, you know, you can have a meeting at the call of the chairman. You know, and
when we know, but there's no point in having one unless we've got something.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
That's really what we need.
which could be a month away.
Oh, it could be up.
Yeah, it could be. So,
So we'll
Or
rely
we
on
could
you
have a
to
Christmas party.
okay, we'll
keep in touch with Tim to ask
Under
him.
the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
Yep.
under the Christmas
And once I
tree,
send you
agree.
this letter and you're
That's cool.
signed off on it, who do I send it to?
Board of Selectmen.
Okay, so I literally just copy everyone and then
Yeah.
send it to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
So that means the next public forum is unlikely to be before
Probably be
Christmas, it'll be
January.
Right, be next year. I would
Okay,
say.
is that,
Mhm.
And we may have to discuss that with them too, like maybe it will be February if we're gonna,
right?
worried about snowstorms, I
Snowstorm,
mean,
yeah,
if we
and
want
I
to.
can't worry about
Yeah.
snowstorms.
No, but I
So,
mean, if, you know,
we're still just within the 6 months, but I mean, I
Yeah.
guess
I,
there's a bit of latitude
well,
on
this was
that.
specifically, I believe, set up because it's not supposed to be like forever.
No,
Which is what happens with a
Yeah.
lot of committees and
Right,
things.
right.
It's, they wanted a short window
Yeah.
so you could try to zero right in, get it done,
Get-
like
get
get
the
in,
list.
get out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I think if we had to push it another month, I don't think
No,
it's,
it's not.
it's not gonna be a crisis, but
Well, we're not gonna do that.
No.
we hope to not do that. But if
Well,
we
in
don't,
which case,
if Tim doesn't get, if they don't get the trees done, if we don't get an assessment, if something
Our
happens, we.
recommendation, we're only
Yeah.
recommending.
Right.
Right,
If
but-
they,
so we'll
we
see what
can't
happens.
And if-
dictate when they do it or how they do it, but that's, we're just recommending that
Yeah.
it gets
So
done.
you stay in touch with Tim,
right.
and then you'll
Something
know
else, and,
when he's
yeah,
assuming he's gonna be able to get this done and the public hearing done or whatever, and,
Right, because they will have all that.
then you can let us know a reasonable time after he does that to say, this is the date I give, I'm proposing, and as long as we have a quorum, we're good.
And the notice period for having one?
48 hours.
48, okay.
Fridays do count,
Yep.
but they have to be in, if it's a Tuesday meeting, for instance, it has to be in before 7 o'clock, preferably a little earlier than that on Friday. So.
Okay.
And it will need to come to me posted as the assistant town clerk.
Right,
Yes.
yeah,
I don't
Okay.
think so.
very good.
I think mine's in there. Yeah, mine's in there.
All right, okay.
Are we all settled?
Any other business?
No, I would like to say myself that I think that everything went well. People talking afterwards, everybody seemed to be in a good mood when they were leaving. I mean, it was like, yeah, it wasn't one of those awful meetings where everybody was arguing things out. Everybody was, I think, pleasantly surprised at some of the things we talked about, and that we patiently listened to any comments or questions they had, which is
Yep.
what it was really all about. And it went well,
Yep.
and everybody pitched in, which was great. It was good.
Did you get any press?
She was sitting in the back row.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any,
Well, we have a day of the week.
which is.
What do you mean, we every day of the week?
We have a day of the week, because it's like Newburyport's one day, West Newbury's another day,
Oh, I
we're
didn't know
another
that.
day. If you look at the paper every day, you'll
Yeah.
notice, and unless it's some big thing that happens,
Yeah,
then,
It's always at least yesterday's news tomorrow.
yeah,
but it's like, I forget when we have
I
Thursdays
don't
or
know.
something.
Is it okay?
That's what I call them.
It'll be in
But it
this
seemed to
week.
be positive. They took away some positive,
Yeah, I think
Good.
people are happy to be able to say positive things now.
yeah. No, I mean, I got very good, including from somebody else, Jess
Has
was
to make a motion to adjourn.
So are we all good now?
Yeah, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
all in favour?
Aye.
Okay.